I
Evening,
got the
everybody.
invite. Hey,
Hey,
Mr.
Art.
Flolo.
I'm gonna try to be on here, but the cell signal does, and the Wi-Fi is even worse.
On your new
So
shed?
no, I'm down here in St. Louis. So good thing I lined you up to run this one, Spencer. So
Good, good.
I told for everybody on, I told Spencer my question for tonight is gonna be if you want to introduce yourself and tell us your New Year's resolution. So I, I'm gonna get to the Ryan. I seen you were on here in the place where you can.
Yeah, I was just heading back outside. My house is kind of loud here with the kids running around. So I'm gonna go outside and get some work done here for a little bit. Check some
Alrighty.
cattle. I don't have a New Year's resolution that I can think of. Guess it's not
Well,
something I put in mind, I guess I got so many irons in the fire already. I guess my resolution is to try and keep my sanity in 2026. We're
well,
expanding the business and putting up a big warehouse shop on the farm and a bunch of stuff going on. So just a lot of
that's
stuff, a lot of irons in the fire.
That's a good start. Evening, Drew. I see you're on. You have a place where you can touch base and tell us your New Year's resolution.
Yeah, I don't do New Year's resolutions. Just keep on keeping on. So, yeah.
I see you just got back from a skiing trip, didn't you?
Yep, sure did. It was nice. It's good time out in Colorado. First time my kids have been there.
Oh,
Cool. Alrighty, Bob. Evening. Want to jump on and tell us what your New Year's resolution is? You're on mute.
Okay, yeah. New Year's resolution. I'm going to spend more time with people. That's
That's
what
a good
matters.
start.
I didn't say what kind of people.
Evening, Joe. Are you in a spot where you can check in?
Yeah, kinda. Just driving my semi back home with a load of corn for tomorrow. So haven't really thought about it, but I guess I mean there's always goals a guy could have, like, complete taxes sooner than I have in years past, catch up on projects. Oh wait, no, that one probably isn't obtainable. Let's keep it with realistic goals. Not slide into the ditch when I pull into my snow-covered driveway. There, we'll do that.
Alrighty. Evening, Jacob. I see you jumped on here. We're going through introducing, telling everybody what our New Year's resolution is.
Does that mean it's my turn?
Yeah.
Uh, my New Year's resolution is to shed a few pounds. It's not quantified, but it's directional.
Oh, at least you got something to start with. Evening, Keith. Are you in a position where you can tell us what your New Year's resolution is?
Uh, well, I
We're
know.
looking at your ceiling, I think.
Yeah, yeah, kind of. Yeah, there we go. I never even thought about it. I hadn't made one. Um, Whoop, getting a call here. Hold on.
Alrighty. Dan, are you in a spot where you could introduce yourself and tell us what your resolution is? And then Thomas, how about you? I see you're on here. Evening, Thomas.
Yep. Evening, guys. I'm gonna be on camera a second, then I gotta go do chores. Um, I've got two really. I want to lose another 30 pounds on top of what I've lost, and before the end of the year, run a half marathon. So, um, registered for a 10K in April, and we're gonna we're gonna keep on trucking till we get to the half marathon.
Well, I hope your knees hold up for that. So, evening, Tim. Are you in a spot where you can introduce and tell us what your New Year's resolution is?
my resolution. I'm kind of in the no resolutions. I had a friend, I'm old college friend. He like had all these goals and stuff all mapped out. I'm like, I'm not doing that. So to be a better employee dispenser.
Well, now I got to tell you why I wanted to know what your resolution was. So
And
hopefully,
to try to get
what?
and
Go
try to
ahead.
get 5,000 miles on my bike this year.
My goal in asking everybody what their resolution tonight was is I was hoping that would set us up pretty good for talking about the discovery trial, and I'm gonna try to turn that over to Spencer and let him talk about it. This is something we've been working on for the last several months, and I would like to be leading it tonight, but with the Wi-Fi signal I'm on, I better let him if he wants to share a few things and take it away, Spencer. And are we recording already? Make sure we're recording now. So Kathy says we are, so take it away.
Okay. Well, yeah, guys, this Lauren kind of announced this program a little bit with a social media post on the on New Year's Day, and I'm glad you all were able to join this call because I know a few of you are people that we've talked to about this already, and hopefully there's a few of you that maybe have some ideas if you weren't thinking about it yet, but. We're calling this the a discovery trial grant, and the idea behind it is basically to make one $10,000 grant to a farmer to go test something that is either could be a new crop, a new practice, or maybe a new business model. And the idea behind it is really things that there isn't anybody else that's kind of incentivized to test right now. Um, universities are great for replicated data with a lot of statistics, and then there's a lot of other grant programs that are really targeted at academia. But there's not so much that just a full-time farmer has access to, and that can, unless you're willing to go through quite a lot with the amount of reporting and that sort of thing. And so we we kind of had this feeling that there's probably some ideas out there that people have been wanting to test or that maybe they're doing already, where we could, with a relatively small amount of money, we could maybe bring some of those things to life faster, and that's good for everybody in my opinion anyway. So um so what we've kind of put together here is it's a $10,000 one-time grant or once a year grant that we're planning on doing uh, without a super heavyweight application, and basically what we're gonna try to do is field ideas from farmers, pick one that we think is the best idea, and or has the kind of the most potential to impact farm profitability. And hopefully you all have heard us talk about our mission at Ag Ventures Alliance is to increase farm profitability. And so this is really, normally we're making investments in innovative startups. This is a little bit different take on that, where let's see if there's some ideas or innovation right off the farm where we can invest in that through a grant. And I like to actually like to use the example of back when Lauren was kind of pioneering the relay cropping, and I know he doesn't take very much credit for that, but he was one of the, in my opinions, kind of one of the early pioneers of doing that, where he was planting cereal rye in the fall and then would come in and plant soybeans in between his cereal rye rows early in the spring, harvest the cereal rye over the growing soybeans in midsummer, and then come back in the fall and harvest the soybeans off it, and so double cropping for northern regions. And that, if that can work. That could make a big difference for farm profitability. And so things like that, I think, are really the what we're kind of hoping to maybe uncover. I know there's some people who have done other interesting things. I'm thinking of like Derek Axton up in Canada, growing multiple species of crops together and then cleaning them out and or milling them together maybe would be another thing that maybe um, if there's a small incentive, maybe there's some people willing to experiment on an acre or two. Um, so that's really kind of the crux of this idea. It could be a new crop, it could be a different practice, or maybe it's a different market. Um, and it's high risk, probably not going to work out in the early days, but between between the farmer testing it and us at Ag Ventures Alliance, we're going to try to document some of that and share it out to other farmers. So hopefully it can kind of speed up that innovation life cycle. Another great example, Bob, this is a shout out to you where you kind of seeded the whole 60-inch corn craze that has been developing over a few years. That's the kind of thing where and that one really kind of took on a life of its own, it felt like, and people were testing all kinds of different things. Um, but I think that's the kind of thing that we're aiming at, where is there another way? Is there a better way in the both of those examples, the relay cropping and the 60-inch corn? I don't know if there's a big incentive for anyone else to do that other than the farmer. Bob, you came off mute. Do you have have a thought there, or did
Well, I was picked up on the word craze as an abbreviation for crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, and that was fun. But there was good sophisticated work done earlier, and they had a term called solar corridor. Leroy Dykeman down in Missouri, and so I just picked up and ran where he was. The interesting thing about that was the name it was sticky. The name was sticky. 60 inches. Everybody could relate to that. Solar corridor. I know. So I think what I hear you saying is think about something that resonates with the grower today that solves a problem or causes him to think a little different is part of what you're trying to trigger here, as opposed to $2 terms.
I I think so. I think so. I think the main thing is that we're hoping that this will maybe inspire some people to take a chance on a small scale still on something that could make a big difference, even if it's not likely to work. And so it could be, I mean, I'm trying to, it's a little bit hard to come up with examples. I'm hoping you guys have some things burning in the back of your head that you've been hoping to try for a
Well,
while.
and I would say that's one of the reasons I've been trying to be vague about giving people ideals, because I mean the true inspiration here is to help you get out of your own box and try to do something different on your farm that hopefully will help you through these trying times right now. So
Yeah, and I might jump in just one more thing there, and that is what I did on the 60-inch thing wasn't that big of a deal, but part of it was I really did what I did on a dare from a friend that thought it was a bad idea and said, "Well, if you think you're so smart." So one of the test cases, and I've run around with Lauren for a while now, so we're each other's best friend or worst enemy, depending on what the situation is, but it's what do people think is just too crazy to do or can't possibly work that just might trigger something. You're really looking for the domino. You're looking for starting a new row of dominoes someplace that leads somewhere.
Ideally, ideally, that's I think that is the if we get very lucky, it's a domino that leads somewhere. And we're kind of going into it with the idea that, more than likely it doesn't, but it's hopefully one step closer to that future.
I thought it was interesting. I just read an article advertisement combo in the Strip Till magazine here this past weekend. The gentleman that came up with the Coulter that mounts under your corn head to go right over top the row. I forget his name and the name of what he's designed, but he was talking that he was hoping that with that Coulter now breaking that root ball down enough, he could then, instead of moving 15 inches off, corn on corn, strip till back into that exact root zone and build all of his fertility there for the corn crop. And in doing so, start feeding that corn crop with a perennial permanent legume to help feed and source nitrogen. It's like, well, that's interesting.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great example where, and I know John Kempf has talked about some people planting corn into alfalfa and the alfalfa drawing water at different parts of the soil profile and that sort of thing. And I think some of this stuff, could even be things that were maybe their old practices and we moved away for some reason, but maybe now technology opens that back up again. Does anybody on the call have any ideas they've been sitting on for years that they've wanted to try but haven't made it over the edge yet?
So I'll speak up about one that I think I'm going to try this year. I'm up here in Northeast Iowa. Just north of my buildings, I've got a 6-acre chunk of my field that's an odd shape. It's always all point rows, and it's just kind of a pain in the butt to plant, spray, and combine because it's all point rows and whatnot. It's also highly erodible ground. I'm thinking about putting it into an orchard, but I'm going to put my trees far enough away where I could get big equipment through. Like, say I did want to plant like 30 foot of cereal rye in between them and basically do like row cropping in between the orchard, like crops that I don't need to use a herbicide on, like cereal rye or oats or something. Either do that, or I'm going to put it into rotational grazed pasture, but also an orchard. So I'm going to have, which either way, I'm going to have to put panels around the trees because of the deer we have, until they get developed. But I mean, that's going to be a multi-year project, not something we're going to, right away, first year, be like, we harvested this many apples. It's going to take a couple, 3, 4, 5 years before they really start producing. But that's been kind of in my head, like, okay, if I can have these apples and make, profit per acre off the apples, and then, I mean, I got an apple orchard there, but I don't want to mow all the damn grass. So why not rotational graze cattle, sheep, in between it, and set up some poly wire, and do that, because I already have a perimeter fence around the entire farm. So basically, I'll just section off that 6 acres of the farm and start with that, and maybe from there it'll blossom or grow into something, or maybe I can rotational graze it, and then half of it I can plant a winter stockpile, in between to winter stockpile graze cattle or sheep, So 2 profits off 1 acre, and I know the last 3 years I've been rotational grazing cattle. We've been pulling some acres out of production. It's actually been more profitable to put cattle per acre than it has been, 250 bushel corn or 70 bushel beans. It's been more profitable putting pounds on cattle and raising cattle per acre than it has been growing row crops. So that's something I definitely want to increase. So that's been kind of in my head, thinking about how to put that together.
Are your cattle a cow-calf operation?
No, I've been doing feeder cattle for the last 3 years. And then late this summer, actually early fall, I got approached by a retiring guy who had a registered herd of red Angus cows, and he wanted out like now. And so he shot me a good price on the cattle, and so I bought 11 stock cows, and I bought all of his heifers too. So now I got a stock cow herd, and so I didn't have a stock cow herd, and I was just doing rate of gain per acre, and we were doing 2.25 pound rate of gain on steers, 400 to 900 pounds. We'd buy them in the spring and sell them in the fall, and our rate of gain and pounds that we were growing per acre was generating us a lot more money than row crop. We had hardly any inputs in them, just move them, So that's been a really good deal for us.
Yeah, I think you're
How
gonna like
often
the
were you
cow.
moving them this year, Ryan?
This year I went to daily moves. We had a couple paddocks. I kept them on like 2 days, but other than that, they were everyday moves. And I don't have a lot of pasture, so like I took my small pastures and made them smaller, basically with polywire, so they were in tight groups. I really liked it. It worked good. It recovered fast and whatnot. But I mean, we did have a lot of rainfall this year. I mean, we were 36 inches, 38 inches of rainfall. I think we might have even been more than that by the end of fall. But we had a lot of rain this year, so that made a huge difference. Yeah, it was a really good year for it. We hardly supplemented any grain at all, hardly any hay, no death loss. We never vaccinated them, no implants, no nothing. We just poured them to keep them clean, and out they went. Good mineral program and rotational graze.
Are you selling them as grass-fed, grass-finished?
No, I don't have a market for that yet, and I wasn't finishing them. I was selling them as 950 pound steers. So that way, in my area, guys are looking for 800 to 1,000 pound steers to put on slats because I'm surrounded by slatted barns. So I've been actually looking into maybe taking like 40 or 50 acres out of production and getting a group of 40 or 50 or 60 head. I can basically do this 1.5 head per acre, seems to be about right in my area. And I want to talk to, there's 4 local guys that all got slatted cattle barns, and I want to say, hey, how big are your pens? Do they hold 60 head? Do they hold 80 head? Do they hold 40 head? And I want to be able to fill a couple pens in their slatted barn and put together a contract with them in the spring and say, hey, October 1st, I'll have cattle at 900 pounds, or say September 15th or whatever. I'll have them at this weight. We can do a slide on the weight and agree on a price and do a slide on the price based on the weight. And then I can lock in some profits on them, and do a group fresh off grass, green cattle, ready to throw on slats and finish off that last 400 to 500 pounds. So,
Hey, Ryan, I think you're on the right track.
well,
Number one,
I have spreadsheets on this, and I've been doing this for 3 years now. So I actually ran it by my banker this spring. The problem is, you put a row crop in, you only need it. It's $1,000 an acre. Broad. That's pretty rough. It might cost you 800, might cost you 1,100. $1,000 an acre. Let's just call it that. You go to put 1.5 head of feeder cattle per acre. Now it's like $3,000 per acre is your input cost, and it's all in the frickin' cattle. So when you go to, if you got to borrow the money, you go from having, your on your spreadsheet, your interest for row crop is going to be like $30 an acre, but your interest per acre for cattle is like $100 an acre just in interest alone. That was the biggest killer, but it was still $100 an acre more profitable than growing corn and beans.
But you got your cows now, so you're going to make your own. Hey,
so I got my cows now. Yep.
Yeah, Spencer, I apologize for speaking up too much here, but I would make one suggestion, then I'll be quiet. Think about the old strip intercropping model where you have corn, and instead of beans, you've got this lush grazing, and so you're using the whole field, but you're kind of splitting. It's kind of a version of relay cropping, if you will. I think you're going to have a lot of fun. That's all I'll have to say about that.
The banker had no problem with it. They're like, how much money you want? Put your whole farm in grass. We don't care. The numbers look good. there was no debate, so they were fine with it, you know. But yeah, plus, you know, when you start, if you want to really get biblical, every seventh year you're supposed to give your land a break. So that is one way to split up that row crop and maybe give that land a rest for a year and just graze cattle on it. And then they're going to spread the manure for the next crop the next year, you know? So just that's thoughts running through my head on what I want to do for next year. I haven't even booked all my seed yet because I don't even know what I'm going to do. So
That sounds very familiar along the same lines of what Landon Plague's been doing in his partnership with the grass-fed cattle, Knuth or Knuth, I think it is, or something that he works with, and coming out after the oats, and then they're getting some phenomenal rate of gains on the cover crops after the oats anyway.
yeah. Yeah, after oats, I mean that's you're talking early part of July harvest, mid-July. You know,
And they're
now
giving
all
it
of a
about a
sudden,
month, and
yeah, some
actually
growth.
the growth rate they've actually found was, he said, this past year the cattle couldn't keep up anyway until it got a couple weeks in anyway.
Yep,
So
absolutely.
Ryan, I had a
and we
quick
call this one a happy hour because I think we want the unscripted discussion to go with it. So you're not interrupting anything.
Ryan, I had a question about your orchard. Are you set on apples?
No, I'm open for whatever.
Okay.
I know
I
like
wanted
locally here there are some places that do ciders, like hard ciders and stuff. And I know they're looking for more local apples, you know, to make more cider too. So that's,
sure.
you know, that's where I don't know, I like eating apples. So
Yeah, and I don't think you should plant all of one species anytime you plant
no.
anything, but if you're interested in chestnuts, we should talk after the meeting.
Okay. I don't know anything about chestnuts, but I'm open for anything. All I know is
I'll
they're supposed to be roasted on an open fire or something like that, aren't they?
that's how the song goes.
That's how the song
Um
goes? All right.
yeah.
Drew,
I
tell us about chestnuts, Drew.
Well, we're trying to get a project together that sounds very similar, where we're trying to graze livestock in between chestnut trees. So yeah, always looking for collaborators on projects. So whether it's chestnuts or apples, I think maybe we could partner up and try to get something going.
Can we grow chestnuts in Northeast Iowa?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. All right.
yeah.
Awesome.
You're not too far. We're in just north of Cedar Rapids, so
Oh shit. You're like not very far from me. Less than an hour probably.
what kind
I'm
of
an hour from
ground
Cedar
do they
Rapids.
like?
well drained. So you know you don't want to plant them in clay, but a low silty loam or a sandy loam is good.
Gotcha.
How much difference between chestnuts and hazelnuts? Because if it's hazelnuts, we've got plenty of expertise we can help pull from.
Yeah, I know hazelnuts are
University of
trendy, but the
Minnesota. So
picking
University of
them
Minnesota.
sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah. University of Minnesota also has some, they've been doing a lot of work on on hazelnuts in the Midwest and some other northern crops too in their Forever Green initiative, if you guys have ever looked that up.
Yeah, I
Well,
think
there's a
to make hazelnuts profitable, somebody's got to have a picker.
So what's the market for chestnuts? Like what are you doing with them? Like I don't see chestnuts in the store for sale.
Yeah, that's a good question. There's a group out of Waterloo that will come do a U-pick. I guess I'll send you a YouTube video from
Yeah,
a
shoot me some
gentleman.
info.
Yeah,
You want me to put my email or whatever in the and phone number in the chat?
I actually think I have your email. My wife, Erin Erickson, has worked with you in the past. She's Makokata Watershed. So
Oh yeah, I've worked with Aaron.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll pick her. I'll get her your email through her.
Perfect.
Worst case scenario, get a hold of me and I'll get you two connected.
All right, get
Sounds
my
good.
phone set up
Thanks,
there.
Lauren.
And looking forward to your application, Ryan.
There we go.
I had a question about the $10,000 one grant. If two guys come in at $5,000, would you guys consider splitting it up?
Yeah, we're gonna be pretty flexible here and not make too many rules for ourselves or for anyone else. So I think that's a possibility.
Cool.
And I will show you guys the application here. Just so you can decide for yourself if we're overboard or trying to make it reasonable. So we're asking for name, email, phone number, a little description of your operation, and then we've got 4 questions. What's your idea and how will you test it? Why is it just crazy enough to work? How would you spend the $10,000 and give us a brief budget breakdown? And what do you hope to learn? And then we had a request for people to be able to upload a supporting document or pictures or something like that. So we added that in there. And then 3 check boxes that discovery trials are designed to generate learning, and that you'll work with us to share the learnings, and that if you're not an Ag Ventures Alliance member, you'll become a member if you win.
The wheels are turning the way it looks. Is that
And-
simple? Is that simple enough for everybody? That's the question I have.
I would give you accolades on keeping it simple. That's good because a lot of the stuff and pretty flexible too. It doesn't look like there's too many strings attached.
Yeah, not we're definitely trying to keep it lightweight, which is we just think it matches with the way farmers operate better.
And you put the application in the chat for everybody,
Yep.
and we'll be getting it on the website as soon as possible. So no, there'll be a few other things included on the website, but the simplest part is the application. So
Is it open to a vegetable farm?
yes,
Yep, for sure, Schaefer.
it's open to every farmer.
In fact, Schaefer, we've talked with one person about running some heat loops underneath a high tunnel and heating those heat loops with Bitcoin miners. So for anything that's out there enough, that's one of the ideas.
Would it have to be production farming, or could it be something like a pitch contest for FFA program where there would be, putting on the pitch contest, but then also some micro funding for the winners of the pitch contest?
Definitely targeting this more at farmers. But I'd say fill out an application, and if it's the best idea, maybe we'll decide on that.
Who is going to be the judge panel or whatever? Do you have that?
To be determined. Yeah.
And what will the criteria be?
How much we like your answers to the 4 questions.
Bring wine and beer, huh?
Yeah.
What's the timeline that you have in mind?
Great question, Bob. So we would love to be able to announce the winner at our annual meeting, annual member meeting, which will be March 24th, 25th.
Is there a
So,
due date on the submission?
Before that.
Okay.
so could this also be seen as a networking opportunity? I've got all kinds of loonshot ideas or next step ideas like vermiculture, or I bought the Forest City stadium system for trying to play music to the crops, but I just don't have the time to get something done. I need some help or some partners or just somebody to kind of help organize time to get stuff done. So would this be like a networking opportunity, or is there some other better way to find cohorts?
Good question. And I just remembered I might have to add another question to the application, because we did mean to ask people if they have other ideas. So maybe we think about that on like a one-off basis. Maybe um, either maybe you can try to recruit somebody or find somebody, or maybe this will be a chance to find a bunch of people that do have different ideas to test, or maybe if someone else submits a similar idea, then we could run that. Maybe we could be matchmakers in the background or something like that. Um, but I don't think we definitely don't have like a built-in way to do that already.
Well, I've got the Forest City football stadium speaker system, and if anybody comes up with an idea how to use it.
And I've talked with Tim about this, and again, I think John Kemp has maybe talked about it on his podcast too, with how plants respond to different types of music playing in the background, and they're very happy with classical music, and they're not as happy with heavy metal.
Oh, that's disappointing to hear.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Joe? Tim's got some speakers if you wanna submit an application and prove that to be wrong.
I
You
think
might
my
have to,
cab gets enough abuse as it is.
you might have to worry about the neighbors too.
Is there any chance that music or sound could be used to chase deer off of plots? I've had a lot of plots that have been destroyed by feeding the hunter's deers. Will your sound system help with that?
I haven't looked into that, but if they have sound frequencies that are supposed to scare off mouse or the deer whistles that go on car bumpers, that's probably a good moonshot idea.
Spencer, what do the timelines look like? Would you want results by this fall, or if a proposal isn't going to get any results for a couple of years, is that acceptable?
So ideally, and especially I think on the first year, we're hoping that we can do it in one season, so we have something to show for it next year. Um, but again, I think I'd encourage, if you've got something that is like a multi-year thing, like the grazing under an orchard type thing, I think that is worthy of a submission, and maybe we'll just decide that's the best application we have, and we have to do that. I know I I've been kind of following like some of the Forever Green work that they've been doing with like the Kernza and the like elderberry and hazelnuts and that sort of thing. And those are all multi-year, but I think
Yeah, but I think there's data points that you can pull after year one, like how fast did the trees grow?
yeah.
What does the soil test look like?
Yeah, and to be honest, there could be enough value to other farmers in just figuring out how much does it cost to establish 1 acre the right way or like in the optimum way. So you're right. I think there are some different ways to look at that.
I'd chalk it up to we don't know what we don't know. So if you apply and we look at it, and then we can figure out what we need to be doing in the future.
Yeah.
So
To say this grant is, looking for innovation and experimentation. The grant itself is that as well. We, agreed as a board to start with this to see where we can go. And I believe there's a multitude with high hopes that this can, build into its own snowball down the road.
Yeah, I would applaud you guys for what you're trying to do here because it gets pretty lonely out there when you got a goofy idea. I mean, it's a lot easier to kill an idea than it is to encourage it. And looks to me like what you're doing here is trying to provide a seed bed where it's okay. It's okay to try, just to try.
Yeah, you nailed that, Bob. That is what we're hoping to do and yeah, just get some of these things give life to some of these ideas and then kill them if they need to be killed.
Bob, did you just come up with a trademark there on the call? Innovation seedbed?
I'll send you the contract for the royalty. How's that? But you got to pay for the lawyer.
Yeah, maybe I'll pass.
well, I think I'm gonna jump back into another meeting here. Appreciate you guys all. I do have, I think, Inatrex lined up for our Friday happy hour. I think it's January 16th. That'll be coming up. So with that, Merry New Year, and nice to hear your resolutions now. So
Yeah.
see if this can feed some New Year's resolutions. So looking forward to seeing what you guys apply for, and no dumb ideas. Let's see them, and feel free to reach out if you need help with the application.
Thanks, Lauren.
Thank you for filling in for me tonight. Sorry I'm in the hotel's Wi-Fi. So
Good meeting.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good evening, everyone. Thanks.
All right, see you later.
See you guys.